All right, so the last time we met, we were discussing isomers, and we hadn't done C6H14. I left this for you to work on your own. So I'm going to draw out the isomers. So the first one, the chain of 6, is hexane. And remember, your longest continuous chain of carbons is what gets the last name, the parent. So as long as you go about naming and writing these different possibilities for isomers, it's a lot easier. So maybe some of you have worked on experiment 11 already, and you're kind of seeing if you have a system, it makes a big difference. So for your chain of 5, there are 2 possibilities. What's the name of that one? 2-methylpentane. Excellent. And then what's the name of that one? 3-methylpentane. Good. Any questions on those? Okay. So chain of 4, you have 2 possibilities. And this is the longest continuous chain of carbons. So how would you name that one? 2,3-dimethylbutane. And then the other possibility, it's a chain of 4 as well, but the methyls are coming off the same carbon. So instead of 2,3-dimethyl, it's 2,2-dimethyl. Ooh, when I put, you guys see what I did? There, you can catch it. Right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bonds to carbon.
Oh.
But you know, it's very easy to do because you get into the habit of filling in hydrogens. Just kind of get autopilot. Okay, and I did it here too. You got that CH2. Okay, that looks better. You know, and you can always count up your hydrogens. This formula is C6H14, so I should have 14 hydrogens. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. So how would I name this one? 2,2-dimethyl. What was the last part? Butane. Good.
I had that one there. That's crazy. Instead of that other 2, 3, I got like 2-ethyl butane.
Okay, so you came up with 2-ethyl butane. 2, 3, 4. So okay, so you're calling this 2-ethyl, butane. Is 4 the longest continuous chain of carbons? No. What do you see? 5. So sometimes it's easy to convince yourself that you have an isomer. So the correct name is not 2-ethyl butane. Instead, so it's not that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3-methyl pentane. Ew.
I love it.
Yes. So that's why with isomers it is so helpful to name in addition to drawing the structure, because you can come up with all these crazy ones and you think, or it can be the exact same one just written different ways. Okay.
Why isn't it 3-ethyl pentane?
Why isn't it 3-ethyl pentane? The group that's hanging off is how many carbons?
Oh, I'm thinking. Never mind.
Okay, you got it? No, that's okay. Good to ask. Other questions?
Do we put the correct?
Sure.
I forgot. Did you say that when we got to organic that it was like it's multiple choice, or we're still drawing it out, kind of like we've been doing?
So on the exam for this portion of Chem 122, you will have true, false, multiple choice like you have been. There will be a portion where you draw structures.
Okay.
So drawing structures from names, and then naming structures from structures. Yes. Other questions? Okay. All right, on the next page, page 5, so I have different structures here, and I want you to pick out which ones are structural isomers. So remember, structural isomers have the same molecular formula, but different structures. And because there's different structures, different names. So my advice for you is to go through A through H. Determine the molecular formula. And you know, if this were an exam question and you needed to do this very quickly, probably the quickest way to do it is just count up carbons. Just count up carbons. Don't worry about the hydrogens now. When you come to two molecules that have the same number of carbons, then count up hydrogens and say, okay, if they have the same number of carbons and hydrogens, then they're isomers of each other, as long as they're different structures. Okay, so which ones did you find were isomers of one another?
A and D.
A and D. Okay, so let's check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C6. Now, do these have rings or double bonds? No. So that CN, H2N plus 2 rule, that can apply here because it's just branch chain. Okay, so you know you can, 2 times 6 is 12 plus 2 is 14, so it should be 14. You can count to verify 3, 6, 9, 12, 14, 3, 6, 9, 13, 14. Yeah. Okay, so those are isomers of each other. Are the structures different? You don't even have to, very quickly you can identify that they're different structures just by circling the parent chain. So in A, what's the parent? 5. So 5, 2-methylpentane. And in D, what's the parent? 2,2-dimethylbutane. So this is 3-methylpentane. And this is 2,2-dimethylbutane. You know, if you ever find yourself being stretched for time on an exam, and it's one of these questions, try to just do the quickest thing. Count the carbons, circle the longest continuous chain. If you can see that they're different, don't even worry about naming them. You know that they have the same molecular formula but different structures, therefore they would be isomers. Did you find any other isomers in this set? B and what? F. Okay, B and F. So B, what's the name of B? Pentane. And F is 2,2-dimethylpropane. All right, any other isomers? C and G. Yes. C and G. So the isomers we found, A and D, B and F, C and G. Now C and G, we really haven't talked about how to name them yet. But you can kind of get an idea. This is how many carbons in a ring here for C? So it's 6. So you know it would be hexane, right? And when they're in a ring, it's cyclohexane. Now, how many carbons are connected in a ring for G? 5. So cyclopentane. Now, I always joke around with these cycloalkanes, they're called. Don't forget to put your L in there, otherwise they become psychoalkanes, right? Which at times you might feel like they're driving you. Psycho. So with these cycloalkanes, when you just have one group attached coming off of it, you don't have to put a number because the number would always be 1. So this is just going to be methyl cyclopentane. Any more isomers? Oh, Nicola. Cyclo just means in a ring. So these carbons are connected in a ring. So
is H still a cyclo then? Cyclobutane, or is that?
H would be cyclobutane, or butane. And then E would just be cyclopentane.
So it's kind of like when we had covalent bonds or whatever, and we had to name them where if there was mono in the first word, you left it off.
Right.
Okay.
And we'll go over those more tonight too.